Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, checking out the series. Please do hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, new and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover some new ones at all the usual spots, including iTunes and Apple Podcast, at Spotify and Podchaser, NPR, WFPK.org, YouTube for the video versions. That's right here. Or, of course, anywhere you get your podcast from. Subscribe to Kyle Meredith with. That's me, Kyle Meredith. Today, my guest, actor, musician, Nat Wolff. We're going to be talking about The Consultant. Now, we'll get to that in a minute. Of course, you know Nat from many things. Maybe when he was a younger fella in the Naked Brothers band, Paper Towns, let's see, The Fault in Our Stars, Mortal, just a few years ago. And of course, with his brother Alex in the Alex Wolff band. So we're going to be talking about all of that. Digging into The Consultant. This is a new show. I think it's about 8 episodes or so on Prime Video. And I'm going to read this. The Consultant is a twisted comedic thriller series that explores the sinister relationship between boss and employee. And that kind of defines it. It also vaguely doesn't for a good reason, because when they say twisted comedic thriller, like, I'm actually going to ask Nat, is like, what kind of show is this? Because it's all of that, and it's a whole lot of other things as well. It is based on a book, Bentley Little's 2015 novel of the same name, The Consultant. It also stars, let's see, Christoph Waltz, who is, as usual, brilliant in this whole series as a character named Regis Patoff. It along with Nat Wolff, also stars Brittany O'Grady and Amy Carrero. So we're going to get into the ins and outs of this. As I mentioned, what it is, what it all means, what the characters are up to. Please do watch the trailer if you haven't already. I mean, if you're seeing this, if you're seeing this interview, I would imagine that there's a little interest at some point. Maybe you've already watched the whole thing. Maybe you've seen the trailer, but whatever. You kind of get what it is, what we're talking about. So I'll put The Consultant aside to say also we do talk about the music that Nat and Alex are making these days. They've been putting out a few singles here and there. And working on a lot more. So we're going to get the dirt on what the music's going to be sounding like in the future, and maybe some touring plans, album plans, EP plans, all that stuff. So all that and more, as the phrase goes. Let's do this. It's Kyle Meredith with Nat Wolff. Hi, Nat.
Hey, Kyle. How's it going, man?
It's going all right, man. Pleasure to meet you. The Consultant. Holy cow. What a great, weird, warped, and beautiful series that you've had here. I'll just start. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, man. It's like I'm so proud of it, and people seem to really be responding to it. It's really exciting.
Yeah. So on a story like this, I was even looking up afterwards. It's like, what do we call this? Oh, it's called, maybe speculative fiction. Like, how do you explain what this is to people?
I have no idea. It's been impossible. Like, for the last year of telling people that I'm on this show, they're like, what is this show? And I have no idea what to tell them. I'm like, I'm like, it's a satire, and it's a thriller, and it's funny, but it's really dark. And it's I think, like, the best things, what I said was, when I read the pilot, I was like, wow, okay, cool. I get this. This is like a mysterious, this has got a really interesting tone, and I like these characters, and it's sort of like a dark workplace comedy. And then the ending, that surprise ending, when I read the script, I screamed in my apartment, and I was like, I have to be a part of the show. This is not this. I could have never predicted that in a million years. It just took it to this, like, almost this guttural level where I felt like, and even when I watched it, it's like sickening, and it's totally my taste. But it is impossible to describe. So I wouldn't know what to tell you.
No, I'm not with you. And by the way, the ending, it's like, it's an obvious thing to say, right? Like, this is what we're waiting for. This is what I was waiting for. Like, what's it gonna be? And then you finally show it, and they're like, thank you. But it is, I don't know, man. As I was watching this, thought, we've talked about this, a few years ago, that we were in the golden age of television again, with the golden age of streaming. But it really feels now that we're in a really great age of being allowed weirder things to come around. I think back maybe to Black Mirror. I mean, it's always been around, but it seems like it really got kickstarted. For yourself, like, is this a sweet spot for you?
I mean, it's a sweet spot in terms of it's my taste. You know, like I love watching when I read especially like the third episode of the show, I was like, this is sort of Twilight Zone meets Training Day or something. You know, it's like it's so out and so interesting, and every single script, because the way Tony writes is really from his unconscious, and he doesn't really outline. He kind of just he goes with his gut. So we would get scripts in our emails, and you know, we knew the rough outline of our characters, but we get scripts in our emails. It was like Christmas. Every time I'd be like, oh my God, I can't fucking believe I could do this. And at the end, I'd be screaming, and I'd get texts from Brittany, who plays, you know, Elaine, and Amy, who plays Patty, and we'd be like, did you read the next thing? And then, you know, even Christoph, you know, who's like been in a million incredible things, he's like, the writing is so incredible on the show. And yeah, everybody felt it from the beginning.
I've got to do that one question, the what's it like working with question. And with Christoph Waltz, for him to be such, I mean, because of the styles he's come at, what is it like working with him? Because it feels like this would be different from a lot of actors.
Oh yeah, totally. I said it's like getting traded to a basketball team that LeBron James is on. You're just like, oh man, now I'm gonna get a championship. Fuck yeah. Like, I'm so glad. And you're just like, let me just pick up whatever magic dust I can off of this person. You know, he's like he's a force of nature. But it's funny, in real life, he's actually really gentle and magnetic, you know, quietly magnetic and really warm. That's why I think like in a movie like Inglourious Bastards or something, he gives that character Hans Landa, you know, which could, if you hire an asshole to play a villain, you just kind of push away. You know, we've all seen it when somebody's their essence is just it's like icky. You don't want to be near it. Whereas somehow when he plays those characters, you just love them. You just like lean in and you want to, and that's how you feel when he talks to you. You just can't help, you know, staring at him.
Yeah. But then, you know, watching him work, I mean, the mannerisms that he gives, like I like hearing that you know, once the camera's off, it's sort of a different thing, because it feels like
it's weird. It's kind of the same. Like he kind of brings that warmth to this guy, which makes him so seductive. But I have to say that he's coming to my second preview. I'm doing a play right now, and my first preview's tomorrow. My second preview's on Wednesday, and Christoph texted me today being like, I'm coming to your preview tomorrow night. I just want to let you know, and I'd love to see you afterwards for a drink. And I'm like, why would you tell me that? And then I was like, are you sure you don't want to come later in the ring? He's like, I won't be in New York. I'm like, all right, well, thank you. So, you know, I'm still very, you know, he still has a presence that I want, you know, there's no way I'm going to get him out of my head. Although I do have to talk to the audience in the play, and the idea of not knowing and just staring right into his eyes would have been even more terrifying.
What's the play? I've got to ask. I'll be in New York this week. Yeah.
Come to see it. It's the Seagull. It's the Seagull, Seagull / Woodstock. It's like a modern adaptation of Seagull that we're doing. And Parker Posey plays my mother, and yeah, it's incredible. Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot going on with this. And, you know, let me say also about you, here we are talking about Christoph, but your transformation even, you know, over the course of these, what is it, 8 episodes, I think?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll throw it back on you to see how your eyes are looking and everything by the end of this. Are you able to, do you carry this with you? Because again, there's so much going on in this show.
Yeah, every time I got a new script, I'd be like, I don't know how they could put Craig through any more than they're putting him through, but each episode is even more. I mean, I you know, tend to, it's always different every job, but I tend to try to stay in the sort of vibrational mood place of the scene for the day, and then try to drop it and sort of rest, you know, at night, and then come back. But what I find is hard, you know, because people think maybe that would be exhausting, but I actually find it exhausting dropping it and then revamping up into it. So I would rather just kind of stay there, and I use like a lot of music and meditation and different things to sort of, you know, stay in a certain kind of zone. It also, for some reason, it makes it more fun for me.
Yeah. Now, when you say music, are you talking like meditative music, or are you talking?
I'm talking like regular music. I had like a whole playlist for Craig, which was kind of in the rhythm of the writing. You know, there was kind of a True Blue by Rod Stewart was one of the ones that was that really got me there for some reason.
Interesting. Because, you know, my first thought was maybe something darker, maybe something, you know,
Yeah, and
heavier.
then like in certain scenes, it was like Hurt by the Nine Inch Nails.
That one makes more sense, I would think.
Yeah.
That goes that I feel like that goes easily with what's going on, because I was going to bring up the band too with you and your brother with Alex, and what you get, because Heads on Loose I think is the latest single that just
Yeah,
came
thank
out,
you
right?
so much for checking that out. That's so sweet. Yeah, it just came out like a week and a half ago, and it's really been like doing well online, which is really, because that's where people listen to music now. But yeah, it's we did the album. We like spent the entire COVID, the real lockdown part together. And we brought each other a bunch of songs we'd written, and we just worked on them forever. And then we booked out a studio for 11 days, and we'd heard that the Beatles would make albums in 11 days. And we were like, if we give ourselves this time window and we don't let ourselves, because we have a tendency to just go on and on and on and like keep fixing. But if we just say that's it, maybe it'll spur something. And it really was having that time limit. It really like gave us an energy in the studio. We were like, because we play all the instruments, so we're running back and forth, like, let's go play a bass part. He'd run and play a bass part, like while I'm playing a piano part, and we go, it was hectic and chaotic and great.
Yeah. So for it being now, a handful of years since, the last album, it's been a very long time since the Foley.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like, of course, lockdown kind of afforded you that time, but now having all that time, I mean, a decade in the past, you're a different person. The last time we heard it, even the EP in the middle there, like, what did that mean for this? Like, who did you all want to be? What was that sort of the case?
Well, I think the songwriting has grown. I mean, in a really incredible way, Alex and I have really grown together as musicians, and he really inspires me, and I inspire him. And I think one thing that's different is that we have a confidence in the studio now that we didn't before. And we used to kind of rely on a producer or engineers or things that we did. We had an incredible engineer, but we produced it ourselves, and we really orchestrated it ourselves. And there's a song. My dad was really sick for a while with cancer, and I wrote a song about that experience and a lot of my guilt and feelings towards that. And we had my dad play a really beautiful piano solo intro that leads into the song. And he had been working on the song. He came and he said, I can't ever hear the lyrics when you're playing. Can I read the lyrics? And he read the lyrics, and he started crying. And he said, and my dad doesn't cry. And he said, put me in the booth. And they're like, okay. And my dad's a genius pianist. And he goes in and he does it in one take. It's like, I was just bawling, and everybody. And then he's like, all right, put me in another take. We're like, no, that's it. That's it. And it was, and so that's one of the most meaningful moments for me on the record.
Yeah. And then Table for Two, is that right?
Table for Two, yeah. And that song's called All My Plans.
Yeah. I mean, it always sounds cliche when I say this. It sounds like a personal record. So many artists use that, but hearing about that story, hearing about the way you guys have talked about the latest thing with Heads on Loose, because I feel there's even, if I want to, the connection to make with a consultant, because what your character is going through, it isn't the same thing as specifically in the song, but there is a very heavy mental health aspect to this track, right?
Totally. It's based on my own struggles with my mental health, and then I had a friend that was really struggling, and and I had been in the exact same position. And it's also this strange thing where I do feel like there are these cycles in life where in order to get to the next spot, you have to kind of spin out. And for me, it was like 2021, and then there's this friend who's younger than me who I knew since he was 13, and he was going through this really hard time at like 19, 20. And that was sort of the impetus, and he had his father pass away, and that sort of, and he was kind of doing drugs and stuff. And that was sort of the original impetus.
Yeah. Because I guess it goes back a few years. I mean, finishing it up lately, but what, 2018 for this song?
Oh my God. Yeah. 2018. It's changed a bit and permutated, but we started playing it live like 2018.
Yeah. And what does AJR have to do with it?
Oh, wow, man, you really do your research. So Jack is one of both of our best friends, but he's like Alex's best friend, and those guys are geniuses. And we just went over to their house, and I said, "Hey man, can we let's demo the song?" He always loved it. I'm like, "Yeah, let's demo it." And then it was before we made the record. It ended up just sounding the vocal. He put me in his closet, and we had t-shirts and stuff to make it so it didn't echo. And I was like sitting in a thing, and I kind of ended up like rolling to the floor, and we still use that vocal and the entire track as a whole. We added some real instruments in there, but the heart of that track was in Jack Metzger's little apartment. Jack Met, his real name is Jack Metzger, but
I only know him as the Met Boys. Yeah, I've had him on here too a few times. I mean, seriously, they're songwriting geniuses. I really do believe that.
yeah, and their production is so great. And I don't know if you've ever been to one of their shows, but it's like being at a party.
Mm-hmm.
And actually Jack used to play with us. Like we used to have him play. He was like he was like a rhythm section when we used to play live and stuff. So we've all made music together for a long time.
Yeah. So I mean, are you going to take this out on the road? Is there those chances for collaborations?
It would be a really fun tour, like the Brothers tour.
Yeah, right. What is I mean, because, geez, for everything you've got going on here, consultant as we're talking about, the play and everything. I mean, is there time once this record is out that you guys are going to see the road at all?
Yeah, we want to hit the road. I think, and the true reason why we've taken so long to put the album out is because we want to put it out, the full album, when we have time to do a real tour, at least in the States, like to do a real tour in the States. I mean, I would love to do a tour in Europe or to do it in South America or something, but the first stop would be to do a tour in the States. And and we're both so busy, but we're gonna, we'll make a chunk of time, and that's when we'll put the record out. But now we have like a whole new host of songs. So we're going to go back in the studio. So we might have another record ready by the time we put this out, or maybe we'll make it like a triple album and like have like 40 songs come out, like do like a, I don't know, crazy quadruple album.
That's Billy Corgan stuff right there. That's what
I was
that is.
literally thinking, should I say Smashing Pumpkins?
Oh wait, I'm wearing the Melancholy shirt.
That's, no way. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Coincidence. Yeah, nice coincidence right there. Well, I'm a fan anyway. I love what you do musically. I love seeing you on the screen, and to be able to have a career that affords sort of both of these. Do you go to the same well? Do you find for both sides? I'm talking for acting and songwriting.
I think it's the exact same well. It's like fingers on a fist. It's like it's dipping into some kind of need I have to be creative, and I actually find it to be really healing. I find anytime I'm not doing something creative, and it doesn't have to be professional, it could just be like, if I go on a vacation, I'll be writing poetry or writing songs every day, because if I'm not, I tend to feel stagnant, and there's this energy that gets stuck, and it starts to feel like anxiety or something. So I feel I feel really lucky to have those outlets. I don't know how people don't,
Right. The obsessive nature helps quite a bit, I think, for
I'm a total obsessive compulsive. So it's perfect.
Has that always been there for you?
Yeah. And it's really in my family, it's in my dad, it's in Alex, it's in me. And it used to be, and some other things too, they used to be that are mental health related. And I used to think of them in a more of a shameful, or I used to have more shame connected to them. And now I realize that they are, equal parts good as destructive. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you put it in a positive place. So I'll wrap up with this too. With the consultants, I mean, here we are. There is an ending to that. Do you feel like there's more story that could be told?
I think so. I think in a really great way, it's one of those shows where they do have an ending where you could, potentially end it there. But I'm curious to see how these three characters, especially these three, Lane Craig and Pat all come together.
Yeah. I'll be on board if it happens too. Nat, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm
That was
seriously looking
incredible.
forward.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Kyle.
I'm looking forward to the music too. I keep like triple album. Yes, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.